For years, the world called Orlando Brown crazy. His interviews were memes, his claims sounded like pure fiction, and Hollywood treated him like a cautionary tale. But what if he was never actually unhinged? What if the madness was the only way he could leak the industry's darkest secrets without being silenced? For the first time ever, the one person who knows him best, his former co-star Raven-Symoné, has officially broken her silence. And what she just admitted confirms everything people didn't want to believe for years. Orlando wasn't lying. He was just using the only character the industry would let him play in order to reveal the truth.
No, sometimes it's like, bro, no.
It's not like shut my fucking mouth. You wanna know why? Because it was my traumatization that I went through that. I ain't shut your fucking mouth when that's the only way I have to deal with my trauma, which is tell the truth. Everybody running. They running.
Denzel's
Bro, everybody did though. Everybody did something that they didn't want to do. And I'm the baby, so I'm gonna tell you the truth.
You have to ask yourself, why is this the only industry where losing your way is considered part of the job description? The child star breakdown isn't an accident, it's not a coincidence, and it's definitely not just one or two isolated cases. We have watched this cycle repeat for decades, a conveyor belt of young talent that enters the machine bright-eyed and leaves it unrecognizable. Most people brush it off. They call it the pressures of fame or the price of the spotlight. But is it really just the cameras? Or is there something darker happening when those cameras are turned off? Something that affects the very core of these young actors before they even hit adulthood. For years, Orlando Brown has been the loudest voice in the room, telling us exactly what that something is. He's been screaming about the industry's dark side, and for years, most people chose not to listen. Over and over again, Orlando repeatedly warned about the disturbing nature of the industry elite parties. He described a dark hidden environment years before the first lawsuit was ever filed.
We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes. Bro, it's my dad's friends. My dad sent his baddest friends on.
Diddy, you gave me the oosh gosh goosh. You gave me the oosh gosh muaf, the swoosh wash. Diddy, yeah, son. I mean, you gave me the oosh gosh muash. I love it, yo. I love it. You gave me the oosh gosh muash.
Today, Sean Combs is locked up behind bars, serving time for the very things Orlando was mocked for mentioning. Back then, people said he was crazy or looking for attention. They ignored the most obvious fact. Orlando Brown didn't just hear rumors, he was a child of the machine. Hollywood isn't as big as it looks. It's a small, tight-knit community where everyone stays at the same hotels, eats at the same restaurants, and attends the same private gatherings. Orlando didn't need a source. He was in the room. That behavior that they called crazy is just a way of keeping himself alive. It's easy to dismiss a man who looks like he's off his meds. But it's much harder to dismiss a veteran who has been in the industry for over 30 years and seen it all. In a raw conversation with fellow insider Jamie Kennedy, Raven-Symoné did the unexpected. She validated Orlando Brown. This wasn't the same old Hollywood PR nonsense interview. Instead, they dove into the shadow world, the occult, the predators, and the parents who view their children as a paycheck rather than a human being.
Do you think the Disney Channel alumni end up the way they are?
Only a few adult actors that have come through as children, and they're good. Some are completely out of the business. Some of them, God rest their soul, aren't with us anymore, and some of them are doing good
and are scarred from the industry and never come back.
So look, there's a ton of stuff. There's stealing of the person's money. There's like the thing of you don't even know what you're on. You're on a set like you don't even remember that part. I don't. The pressures of fame. You're 11, but you're really 37. You know what I mean? And it's like there's access to drugs. There's
access to sex.
Yeah, it's sick, but there's all types. And I haven't seen that shit. But like you hear more and more now, and then like the darkness. And then if you want to go dark, it's like how dark do you want to go?
How dark do you want to go?
Well, there's some occultism to you to decide what you want to share. So
during the podcast, the conversation of child stars was brought up and things quickly took a dark turn. When Amanda Bynes was mentioned, you could visibly see the room go cold. Jamie, usually the comedian, was so affected by the mention of her name that he started tearing up.
I applaud him because I could almost cry. Like I worked with Amanda when she was 16 years old. And I'm sorry.
I love me some Amanda.
She's so sweet.
She's super sweet.
She's
I talk to her
so
now.
sweet.
I talk to her every now and then now because I want to go like this.
Her.
I want to go like this. Come here into my black southern arms and give me a hug, mama, because you need a hug. She's going through it, you guys. She's going through it.
I don't know what happened to her, and I just remember how sweet she was and all of the different. I don't even know what was gonna happen to me. Like she was the epitome of sun, and I don't know what she's going through, and the business does that.
They know something seriously dark happened to her, so messed up that it literally drove a grown man into tears. He, Raven, and Orlando are all members of a club that everyone on the outside wants to join so badly. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a Disney kid. To me, they were living the dream. But now, the very actors I grew up watching are admitting the industry has a much darker side than anyone knows. Amanda Bynes and Orlando Brown are clearly victims of it. During one part of the interview, Jamie brings up parents selling their children to the industry. Eventually, this ended with the topic of Orlando Brown, someone who not only had once had a close relationship with Raven, but he also said distasteful things about her during his interviews. Raven had every right to talk down on Orlando, but she didn't call him a burnt-out loser. She called him smart. She called him calculated. She compared him to a heel in wrestling, someone who intentionally plays the villain so they can say things that sane people are too afraid to touch on.
I will always be this way with Orlando. I think he is one of the funniest people I've ever worked with.
So funny.
I think even now, he knows exactly what he's doing. He, to me, is an unhinged Cat Williams of his generation. Unhinged. He's smart. He's smart.
So smart.
And I know Orlando's history. I know his life. I know some of his personal, and that's not my MO. That's why I've never really fully engaged, because I know my strengths, and my strengths aren't the quips that he has. It's not like, I would have never done bop, da, bop, bop. Like, that's not hilarious to me. I do think, though, that you're messing with the industry that raised you, bruh. You're calling out people that
he went deep.
He went deep with a lot of people.
But you're telling me that he's a wrestler? You know what that means? He's a troll. Saying he's in his heel era.
I think he is. I think he's in his attack era.
But when he goes after the industry, do you co-sign it? Come on, you know it's not the best spot.
I know that's why I do not combat Orlando, because some of the things that he says, I'm not mad at him for.
No.
But when he comes for people with, listen, you have to know how to bait people in this industry, then say the truth, and then leave on a button. And I think he does that perfectly. He says some crazy then he tells the truth, and then he leaves on a button, and you don't know what you're
And my brain is like going, what? I'm grabbing what's real, what's not. You know what I mean? So, like,
he's doing the job right.
Amazing.
And I'm not mad at you, bro. Just keep my name out your mouth. And keep the people that you lie about out your mouth. That's all it is. And I'm not, do you? Mm-hmm. But some of the stuff you say is real. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, he'll say dark demonic forces. She got quiet, folks. She got quiet,
I know what industry
folks.
I'm in. I know what industry I'm in.
Raven called them an unhinged Cat Williams. She's telling us that the madness we've been laughing at for years was the only way he could reveal the truth without paying the price. While Raven seems to have kept herself together in the eyes of Hollywood, I feel that she too is a victim of the system. She started acting as a child and today seems to be a completely different person than what the world expected. To me, it looks like she's carrying the weight of the same secrets that seemed to break Orlando Brown. The only difference is she kept it together for the cameras, while Orlando Brown broke down for the world to see. And in 2026, the world is finally seeing what they did to Orlando Brown. Orlando clearly turned to vices to numb his pain. He drowned himself in substances to avoid facing the reality of what he was put through. Orlando didn't just lose his mind because fame was too much for him. He was damaged at a young age, and that's what we are seeing. Now that we know Orlando Brown wasn't just rambling, we have to look at his past statements with a fresh perspective. Just weeks ago, we covered the new lawsuit filed against Will Smith, one that accuses him of disturbing behavior towards a musician on his tour. At the beginning of the year, Brian filed a lawsuit against Will Smith and his company Trey Ball Studios, alleging sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and predatory behavior. The lawsuit claimed that Will Smith hired Brian for his 2025 tour back in 2024. According to Brian, not long after Will hired him, he quickly started to get close to him. The lawsuit claims Smith spent an unusual amount of time alone with Joseph after hiring him in late 2024. Smith reportedly told Joseph they had a special connection that he did not have with anyone else. At the time, Brian didn't think anything of this and likely found it flattering, but he quickly realized there were sinister intentions behind this unusual amount of love. This realization came during one of the nights of the tour. In March 2025, while in a stop in Las Vegas for the tour, Joseph returned to his hotel room, which had been booked by Smith's team. When he entered his room, he quickly found out someone had been in the room without his permission. At first, he thought to himself maybe someone broke in, but there was no signs of forced entry. But earlier that day, Joseph's bag containing his room key had allegedly been lost by tour management, which could explain how someone would have gotten into his room. Inside the room, Joseph found a collection of items he interpreted as sexual threats of violence, including wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, an earring, hospital discharge paperwork for a stranger, and a bottle of HIV medications with another person's name. A handwritten note was also left reading, "Brian, I'll be back no later than 5:30, just us," with a drawn heart. Brian took this letter as someone telling him they were going to come back to the room and have his way with them. So after seeing this, Joseph reported the incident to hotel security, a local police non-emergency line, and Smith's representatives. The hotel staff then reviewed the camera footage and confirmed that only members of Will Smith's management team had been seen coming in and out of the room, meaning that no one broke in. It was someone inside of Will Smith's team. This is when Brian confronted Will Smith's management about the situation. According to the suit, instead of investigating his claims, a member of the management team shamed him, accused him of lying, and fired him days later. He was told the tour was moving in a different direction, though he was quickly replaced by another violinist. Joseph claimed in a lawsuit that the sequence of events from beginning to end points to a pattern of predatory behavior intended to groom and prime him for further exploitation. He's basically accusing Will Smith of trying to break him into the industry, as it's a well-known rumor that many of these male celebrities have to give up their manhood to climb the ranks in the industry. Years ago, Orlando accused Will Smith of things that seemed unthinkable at the time, and everyone called it a breakdown.
What are you talking about, my nigga? You me as a kid, you nigga. You me as a kid and you all my kids, and you still trying to get away with this nigga.
But if Raven is right, and Orlando was using this heel strategy to leak truths the industry would otherwise silence, then we have to look at these comments differently. He was right about Diddy years before the 2025 sentencing. He was right about the parties and the circles that define the Hollywood elite. But the list of names doesn't stop with just Diddy or Will Smith. Orlando Brown has also called out another Hollywood giant who is now being sued for their disturbing behavior too, the Hollywood mogul Tyler Perry. For years, Orlando Brown has been vocal about Tyler Perry. He spoke in riddles about the casting couch and the specific requirements for young actors looking to make it in Atlanta. He was talking about Tyler Perry. And at the time, Orlando was dismissed as disrespectful or simply out of it. But look at the headlines from just weeks ago. I just made a video about Tyler Perry's new lawsuit that accused him of the very same gatekeeping activities that Diddy was accused of.
But Tyler Perry knows what he did, man. He knows what he did. And
Tyler Perry is being accused of assaulting a male employee.
Oh, he did it. He did it like the chicken frying upstairs.
Accusations that Orlando Brown has been exposing since 2018. Again, we see the pattern. Orlando delivers a warning in a way that makes you want to look away, using the unhinged character Raven described, until the legal system finally catches up. Raven told Jamie Kennedy that the industry has a much darker side, and that Orlando knows the history. When you see a mogul of Perry's stature facing these accusations in 2026, you have to ask, was Orlando's disrespect actually a desperate attempt at whistleblowing? He told us about the dress-up culture. He told us about the power dynamics. And while we were laughing at the memes, the unhinged Cat Williams was giving us the blueprints to a house that is finally starting to burn. If Orlando Brown is the unhinged Cat Williams Raven says he is, then his accusations against Will Smith and Tyler Perry aren't just memes anymore. They're potential evidence. Who knows? Will Smith could be the next Diddy facing time in prison for his dirty little secrets. The truth is, Orlando Brown didn't fail the industry. The industry failed him. For 10 years, they laughed at the madman while the real monsters stay hidden in plain sight. But in 2026, the laughter has finally stopped. Raven's exhaustion is perhaps the most telling piece of evidence we have. She's a veteran of a system that Raven admits has a much darker side than the public knows. To the world, she's the one who kept it together. But looking at her today, you see the toll of carrying those secrets for 3 decades. By choosing this moment to validate Orlando on Jamie Kennedy's platform, she didn't just help a friend. She confirmed that the heel strategy Orlando used was the only way to speak the truth without being silenced by the machine. Orlando Brown was the unhinged Cat Williams before people were ready to hear it. He was the sacrificial lamb who traded his reputation to provide a warning that people didn't want to accept. But from the Diddy verdict to the new investigation into industry elites, Orlando's crazy claims are now becoming court records. So the next time you see a former star losing their way, don't be so quick to laugh at them and brush them off. Ask yourself, are they losing their mind? Or are they just using the only character the industry would let them play to tell you a truth you're not ready to hear? We've seen what happened to Orlando. We've heard what Raven has to say. Now I want to hear from you. Which of Orlando's unhinged claims do you think is going to be the next one to be proven true in 2026? Let me know in the comments. I'm reading every single one. And if you're ready to see the industry for what it really is, hit that subscribe button. Well, that's it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.